Hi everyone, welcome to Life Tips by Ning. Today is a video about how to analyze a Bazi chart if your daily master is a Yin Fire, looking like this in Chinese, called Ding, born in the fall season. Because the dominant element for fall is metal, and metal, think about it, is like a super sharp metal cutting through things. You get this colder sensation rather than fire's warmth. Metal is very cold and sharp, very decisive, and cutting through things quickly. So that translates into a fall-born Yin Fire's personality to be more very practical, decisive. They don't procrastinate. They'll just get it done. And they're more logical and leaning towards the thinking side versus the emotional side. And they're very principle and value driven and being super responsible type of people. So in terms of how to analyze the favorable element for their Bazi chart, it's all about how do we build this optimal stage or environment to show off daily master strength. And the two strengths and purpose of Yin Fire, one is give out this very comforting warmth. Unlike the bright sun, which could be too hot, Yin Fire is more the softer glow, like a candlelight or the moonlight. That is one strength. It's very calming beauty and calming comfort. And the second strength is under condition, the Yin Fire itself is not weak, right? I have enough strength. It's kind of a little melting pot. You throw a raw mineral rock in there, it will gradually turn it into precious metal. So its purpose of existence is to elevate and refine other materials. So knowing those are the two strengths for Yin Fire, the question is how do we build this environment to enable itself to show off its purpose and the way of existence. That's why those three are the answers to what this Yin Fire prefers. The reason for Yang Wood and Yang Fire is because wood grows fire and Yang Wood is just more strength, so the support is more sustainable compared to Yin Wood. And Yang Fire is kind of a friend supporting me to give me more strength. One more tip I want to share is that the reason when Yin Fire born in the summertime doesn't like Yang Fire as much is that because summer is already fairly strong, have a rooting support for this fire, I already have strength. Then this Yang Fire is no longer my friend, it's actually my competitor. It's going to steal the spotlight from myself. In comparison, your foundational season and the strength of your qi has changed when it's switched to fall. Fire strength is fading away going into fall and winter. That's why in this moment, Yang Fire is not my competitor anymore. It's actually a friend. That's why like the partnership between Yang Wood and Yang Fire, they will work together to make this daily master in a kind of a balance leaning towards a little strong condition. Once I meet this prerequisite, throw in this metal because that is my target to achieve my refinement and elevation purpose. So that's why those three things should work in combination to make fall-born Yin Fire's Bazi chart pretty good. Again, if you dive into details of each individual month in the fall season, the proportion and emphasis of the three players might differ a little bit, but this is the foundational logic for it. So let's do a deeper dive. For example, if your birth month is the beginning of August to beginning of September, right? This is a yang metal type. So your position 6 in your Bazi chart looks like this in Chinese, called Shen. In that case, because the dominant qi in Shen is already a yang metal, so I check the mark here. I already have this. That's why for this month, I'm more focusing to find the Yang Wood and Yang Fire combination in my chart to say, do I have a strengthful enough wood and fire to support myself? So I'm able to melt and elevate this raw metal chunk. That's why for August, you're looking more for the wood and fire combination as your favorable element. As long as your chart have that, I would say it's a pretty good Bazi chart to begin with. Moving on to September, this is the earthly branch for September. It's a Yin Metal type called You in Chinese. So because the dominant chi for You is the Yin Metal, it doesn't meet this Yang Metal requirement. So in that case, for this month, I actually will look for all three in order to make my Bazi a good starting place. Last but not least is this October birth month. Because it's a young earth, that's a primary chi in this October element. And as I mentioned, Yin Fire normally doesn't like too much earth because not only earth will cover up the softer glow, which is one of my strengths, but also too much earth will actually extinguish fire as well. So that's why, because I run the risk of too much earth here. So I'm more leaning towards those two elements because fire grows earth. If I introduce too much fire, sure, it supports myself, but it also makes this potential risk bigger. So I'm a little more cautious about how much fire shows up in my chart. In contrast, I'd rather have more wood to support myself and then more metal, because not only they also enable me to show off my strengths, but they also play a role of curing my potential disease, because wood can suppress this earth to make it get it under control, and also because earth grows metal. So if you introduce metal, you kind of reduce the strength of this earth as well. So they are more like a stronger partner for October, being able to keep this too much earth risk in balance. So that's kind of how you analyze Bazi, but the foundational logic is still what is the best starting point, and then you just reallocate proportions based on your original context of your birth month. But at this point, I hope people will start to get a sense of what Bazi is like, and using those case studies to get a sense of what is a good Bazi chart to begin with, and how I can find out my favorable versus unfavorable element. But I want to spend a couple of minutes today talking about what's the point of learning all this stuff. To me, it's a tool. Sure, some people might be driven by the curiosity of ancient wisdom, right? Learning this as an additional tool to help you make key decisions in life or whatever your purpose is, just a knowledge tool. But once you spend enough time, practice with enough case studies, everybody will get to a point of understanding this tool fairly well. After you meet this curiosity goal of learning, I think the elevated purpose that I feel myself is it gives me a sense of calmness to navigate through life. What I mean by that is, you've seen the pattern here. It's all about the balancing of qi. Qi is just external planetary energy field influencing us humans on Earth. So qi means energetic field and influence, which influences our mindset, our value system, and how we approach things, kind of like our worldview. And this consciousness dictates how we behave and make decisions, which drives end results. So this is kind of the sequencing of how Bazi show up in real life and people's experience. And when you're going through the so-called favorable trends, like your annual trend or 10-year trend is your favorable element, I'm not super excited, honestly, because I know it's not going to last forever. That's the law of nature, the so-called Tao or Dao in Chinese. It's all about constant change, following a certain rule. So knowing that I won't stay at this favorable type of environment forever, I'm not super taking advantage of it. Rather, I have this reservation mindset about, I know eventually I'll head into winter time. That's why little hibernated animals stock up on food. The same logic of me stocking up on money. It's not because money itself, to me, is a tool to buy yourself freedom and sense of security when you know eventually you'll run into the relatively bad luck period of your life. And in contrast, when you're going through the unfavorable elements, maybe, for example, you're a weaker type daily master, you don't like the elements suppressing yourself, which creates pressure and stress. But unfortunately, that's the stuff you're going through right now. How does that translate into our daily life? We might be super stressed or feeling like you kind of get stuck with your work, even though you don't like it, but you don't have any other choice. So it's like a prison situation. That's a perfect example of you going through an unfavorable element. But that moment in your life is not isolated. It's all connected together because honestly, when people are pushed to a corner, that's when they're triggered to make a change in their life. If you're in your comfort zone, you're just gonna carry on the momentum every day without thinking about changing yourself. In contrast, when you're in this unfavorable time of your life, you're so darn stressed, and that extreme pressure might actually trigger some of this click of thought that I have to make a change in life. The moment this trigger is made, your mindset shift, and that's actually the beginning of laying the foundation for your future favorable element, because of that thought to change yourself. That's when you take different action. Maybe I will study a new field. I will actually put in more energy to learning what I love, and eventually I will have a sidekick and build it up strong enough to be my primary source of income, whatever, right? So even in the moment you're in unfavorable, you need to realize that's the triggering and the cause of the future positive results. So that just gives us different realization and viewpoint of what we're going through every day, the roller coasters of up and downs, and how you can kind of calm your mind to see the why behind the surface level of phenomena we experience every day. So thank you for listening to me blabbing about this stuff, but just sharing my personal viewpoint of why this stuff is super important and valuable. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you next time. Bye.